Yo, what's up, everybody? Yo, what's up, George? How you doing, man? What's up, Chase? How you doing, bro? Just give it a couple minutes here for some people to join up. Make sure the video's good, audio's good, and then we'll get right into it. Let me know if anyone has any issues with video, audio, anything like that, and then we'll just kind of get going. All right, what up, SZ? George is short and chill. Nice. All right, cool. Well, let's hop into it. Welcome back to another episode of Ethereum and Chill with Maine. As always, anything kind of discussed in this video obviously does not constitute financial advice. Do your own research as always. But with that being said, thanks again to Prime XBT for hooking it up. Make sure to click the link in the description. Sign up. You get a 50% deposit bonus. So if you deposit 1 BTC, you get 0.5 to trade with extra. You can trade crypto. You can trade FX, commodities. It's really a great UI, great website. Definitely highly recommend. So thanks to the team over there. Yes, so I did miss my metals video this week. I was driving into my hometown. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this week. It's a little different up here in Canada than it is in the States. At least we do Thanksgiving in October. In the States, I believe it's in November. So I'm in my hometown, hanging out with family, gonna eat a bunch of turkey, watch some sports. So wasn't able to do my video Friday, and that's the reason that we are doing this video a little earlier. Normally, I like to do this video right at the close, but wanted to get something out here for you before I sign off for the weekend, and I'll be back to my regular schedule next week. So let's just get right into it. We're going to cover Ethereum, and then I want to touch on Bitcoin briefly because we've had obviously a nice move since my last video. So we'll kind of talk about where I think price is going for this coming week, what my bias is, what my triggers are for potential trades, and we can kind of go from there. What up, J-Man? What up, RSN Kukam1? Michael, how much do you trade Hater SZ? I don't know. How much does your mother hate Trader SZ? Link in the description isn't working for me. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Thanks for letting me know. I'll check that out after the video. All right, so let's get into it. So this is my original F chart that I've had since August. So when I first started doing these streams, it was around the end of August, and we've been using this chart to basically trade Ethereum. We've nailed this entire move down. For those of you that remember, we shorted in here, we closed a bunch here, and then I wanted to see kind of what was going to happen in price action, over the coming days to make a decision on whether this thing is going to go a lot higher. Or if the move is done and the bottom is in, and we're gonna go higher, or we're obviously gonna nuke lower. So right now, I actually believe the best risk reward for a short is kind of near here, and more specifically on Bitcoin. So I mean, if you look at Bitcoin here, on the H12. I'm not a channel trader by any means, right? Or a trend line trader or anything of the sort, but let's assume that we're in some sort of, kind of channel here, right? I don't know what you want to call it, but to me, this is obviously a nice breakout on Bitcoin here. And the reason I'm touching on Bitcoin here is because if this goes like this, guess what is going to happen to Ethereum? It's going to do the same thing, right? So what we want to see basically on Bitcoin, is it going to continue to push higher, or is that it for the move, right? So on Bitcoin, I think we have some nice bullish market structure here, right? So this is a low, a high, this is a higher low. We've now made a higher high here. However, we're still making a lower high relative to here. And if you watch my last couple of videos, something I really wanted to kind of drill into your guys' heads was the idea of market structure within market structure, right? Market structure shifting on the low time frame first before it shifts on the high time frame. Because you could argue that this is a higher high on the 12-hour, but then on the 3-day chart, the higher high is not until way up here, right? So there's a good chance that from here, this just turns around. Now, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, what you want to see is this be a higher high, and what we want to see now is a higher low, right? And then continuation. And then we got to take out this high here, right? Because this is the most significant high on the chart that I see. I mean, obviously this one is significant, but this high is more significant. If we break this high, we're taking out here, in my opinion, because this is the last high before this major move down. So if we get back above here, then absolutely, I think we're going much higher. So what do you want to see on the low time frame, right? You want to see an uptrend, and then eventually this becomes a higher high, and then what do you have? You have a huge leg on the 3-day that is now a low and a higher high, right? So that's really what we want to look for, because if you look on the 3-day chart, the thing is we're into resistance here. So I understand everyone wants to be bullish. I'm like, of course, I'm always bullish on Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to go up. I own Bitcoin, right? So, that is obvious. But what we got to be concerned with here, if you're a bull, is we're into a 3-day bearish order block after a major break in market structure to the downside and basically a perfect retest now, right? So if we pull up our fib here, right? So, if you're a bear, this is where you want to look to get short Bitcoin, is here. This is a high risk reward short on Bitcoin, in my opinion. On the 3-day chart, I think you have pretty clear invalidation. I mean, you could put a stop above there. You could potentially have it a little tighter. But this is into resistance. So, I mean, I'm all for being bullish, especially if you were bullish down here, a month ago, or if you were bullish here a few weeks ago. But to be bullish, just getting bullish on Bitcoin right now, you haven't been paying attention. So what we need to see is, are we going to see a sustained move up here? If so, right, what I want to see on Bitcoin, obviously, if we just continue to go up, that's great. But I don't want to see us lose this level down. So a pullback here is not a terrible thing, right? So, I mean, we could pull back into this high, right? That'd be kind of your shallow pullback, right? Probably your 0.382 pullback there. Why? Why are all these things so shitty? Right, there you go. 0.382 pullback, your shallow pullback, or again, your deep pullback into here. So if you're a Bitcoin bull, right, this is where you don't want to see a pullback here is fine. We're into high time frame resistance, but you do not want to see us lose this. Right? Because if we lose this level here, all this was a deviation above this high. We're back inside the trading range here. We lose this and we're going to shit the bed. Right? So I think we're at a pretty clear spot here for potential resistance. I still think we can push as high as 11.6. I like the 11.6 number. It's right here, this order block here. And I think this is a clear bias level on Bitcoin. So if we push higher, right, you could short this. If we get above here, I think you get long bias towards like 13K. But I think it's a pretty clear invalidation. This kind of, or not invalidation, but trigger level here is around this 11.6 level. I think this gray is the 3-day order block. This is a 1-day order block within there. So I think any sort of move in this gray area up to here, if you're bullish, pull back here is a long. If we get above here, pull back here is a long. If you're bearish, you need to be looking to short into this area. This is where you want to be shorting. TP1, right? Break down, continuation. TP2 is going to be down and down below these lows here. We got equal lows here, basically. Right? So I think we're in a very critical area. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being bullish on Bitcoin. We're back above 11K. That's great. But if you go on my Twitter, I've been talking about Bitcoin going to 11K for a while. I've been talking about 11.6K as an area of interest for me, right? And all that is, why does it keep going back to this stupid fucking fib? Right? Is kind of a deep pullback after a break in market structure to the downside. So I want to be bullish. I want price to continue higher, but this is an area to be cautious in. And if you're a bear, this is where you want to be looking to short. Because if we're going to dump, it's going to happen from here. If we're going to dump, it's going to happen between 11.3 and 11.7, let's say $400 area to start either building a short or looking for a breakdown, right? And so the same thing goes here for Ethereum. If we look at the high time frame on Ethereum here, I'm just going to delete all these levels for a moment. Okay, we're coming right into resistance. The difference here on Ethereum, I think, is the fact that we've come up, tested this level, sold off, didn't take out the low, and now we're back up into the level, right? So that could be potential bullish argument here. Really what we're doing is we're kind of forming a little bit of a pennant here, right? Like this. It's a hideous pennant, but we're consolidating, right? And so to me, similar to Bitcoin, here's my levels I had from my chart last week that we wanted to focus on. So I'm just going to put those on the chart here real quick. Fuck you. I'm using my laptop, so I apologize for my worse than normal, and I know it's already terrible trading view skills. But I'm going to draw this, make this black. Going to draw another one, make this black. 345, 15, 365, 71. So if you remember last week, I talked about these two key levels. I said these are the levels to watch on Ethereum for a potential trade trigger. And if we look here, key level from over here, key level from over here, right? Obviously top there. So this to me was an important range that we were trading in. And what I wanted to see was a break convincingly outside of either side of the range. And so now that we're breaking up, what I want to see on Ethereum is, are we going to clear this level here? Right? So if we are trading above this key SR here, right? Because you can see it's support. When we break through that level, we sell off hard, reject, right? So we're trading above it. So we do not want to get back below 365 if you're bullish on ETH. I think 365 is a key level, which makes me think that we're going to go higher. This is kind of, I think ETH looks a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin here because we have one test, two tests of this area again. So if we get a third test of this gray zone here, I don't necessarily expect this to hold. So what I'm looking for on ETH this week, and this would be confluent with Bitcoin potentially pulling back a little bit, but then seeing continuation. So what I want to see on Bitcoin is a slight pullback into either here. I don't really want to see it come this deep because then ETH is going to pull back way harder. But if we get a little bit of a pullback here on Bitcoin and then another push up, what I'd be looking for on Ethereum is a pullback here and then a trade up into here. Right? So I think the fact that we have regained this key SR level, right? This is essentially the floor here, lost it, regained it, lost it. We've had multiple tests of this area here. So I think this area breaks on the next test. I think a pullback on ETH and a long might see some resistance here. But ultimately, I think we will break through this gray and we'll trade up into the 400 area. I like this as a level right here. So you see this order block here, broke down, retest. So I think this would be a potential long setup on Ethereum. Pull back into 365, slight pullback on Bitcoin, right? And then continuation towards 11.6 on Bitcoin, then continuation towards, 400 plus on Ethereum. So I'm slightly long biased, but we're in a resistance is the point here. So I'm going to be looking to long Bitcoin. I understand, the boy George is short. Boy George is a killer. So, if he's got his reasoning to be short, that's great. He can be short and I can be bullish and we can both get the trade right. So whenever you see someone in the opposite side of a trade as you, like, don't be fucking salty about it, right? Everyone's looking at the markets differently, different time frames. You can both be right, even if you've got biases in the opposite direction. But these are the two areas to watch on Bitcoin, kind of 11,150 and then this deep pullback here. And then on Ethereum, I want to see a pullback towards 365 for a potential long opportunity. And I talked about this in my last video. We were trading down here in my last video. I said, I want to see us get above here, and then I want a long pullback to 365. So if you go watch my last Ethereum video, check that out. And I talked about this exact kind of move happening. Again, micro market structure, low time frame market structure, right? We've got a higher high here now. So now we want to see a pullback, right? And I want to see continuation because really this is we've got a lot more highs to go, or a lot higher to go before we are, macro high time frame, higher high, right? Because if you want to see this is your wave and this is your higher low, right? let's say that's your macro move that's going to happen, there's going to be an uptrend form in here first that gives you the clue that this high is eventually going to get taken out. And that's what we want to see forming here, right? We want to see bullish market structure forming on the lower time frame, the wave within a wave, right? So I'm going to actually be looking for long triggers on Ethereum. Part of the reason that I'm slightly leaning towards bullishness is the fact that the dollar has not been able to find support. So I've been watching this dollar chart for fucking ever, waiting for it to bottom. I've been waiting to see if we get a bottom. We had the 3 drives. We've been tracking this on Metals with Maine for like 2 months. It feels like, finally broke high. And then we came back. I want to see an SR flip. I wanted this level to basically be an SR flip, and just nothing, right? Just nothing. So this is not a good look on the dollar. This is about as ugly as it gets in terms of just fully retracing this move, right? This is almost an entire retrace. So if you're looking here, there's a little bit of support here that we're coming into. So that's kind of confluent with my idea on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are in a resistance. Dollar is in a support. So maybe this gets a little relief, and then there would be a pullback on those two coins, right? That's how you use that kind of correlation. The correlation is extremely strong right now. Dollar weakness, Bitcoin's been bullish. It's as simple as that. If I show you the charts side by side, and then on this side we do Bitcoin. What the fuck is that? Right? So they're very, very much the inverse of each other. So when this was bottoming here, where's the bottom? September 1st, where's the top here? Get this out of my fucking screen. So right before this bottomed, right, this formed a top right there. This had a huge move up. This had a huge move down, right? This bottom at September 6th, right? Dollar topped, pulled back, right? And then we saw a move up here. And then this weakness on the dollar that we've seen from, the September 25th to now, right? September 25th right here. What has Bitcoin been doing? It's been going up. So the correlation is very strong. It's obviously not a one-to-one, but if Bitcoin is at resistance and this is into support, that's extra confluence for a short on Bitcoin, right? So I wanted to see the dollar find strength earlier, and that was going to be me lining up shorts on gold, shorts on silver, shorts on Bitcoin. We're not seeing that. So what we're seeing now is kind of a last area of support, because this is essentially a full retrace of this move. If we come any lower than here, I think this thing's fucked and it's going much lower. There's talks of introducing another $1.8 trillion of stimulus into the market. What's that mean? It means number go up. Stocks are going to go up. Bitcoin is going to go up. So, and obviously Ethereum is going to go up. So for now, my bias is slight pullback on both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I ideally want to see get up to this 11.6 level, but could see a slight pullback first. Want to see Ethereum pull back towards 365. I'm looking to long Ethereum towards 408. And if we get a pullback around to 11,150 on Bitcoin, I'm looking to long that up to 11.6, and then we'll decide from there if things are going to go higher. But I'm not in any trades right now other than just owning spot crypto. If they announce this new stimulus package, dollar continues to drop, just delete the red button off your chart and just long everything. Does that make sense, everyone? I think you got to switch it to HD yourself. This says it's already at 720p. I don't know. I got to figure out my resolutions. They're kind of fucked. I've got the new PC going, so I'm still working on getting the stream situation there. But I'm on my laptop right now, so I apologize. Cool. So does anyone have any questions? Anything you want me to cover, explain on either Ethereum or on Bitcoin? Is this that far back? What is going on here? Anything you'd like clarified about my plan? I think it's pretty straightforward, right? So I mean, if you're a Bitcoin bull, high time frame, forget about low time frame trading for a moment, right? If you're a Bitcoin bull, does this not seem like a smart area, right? To potentially be careful? It absolutely does, right? You've got SR, you've got that key 3-day block. This is a clear bias level on Bitcoin. So any pullback from here, right? If we're just analyzing the 3-day chart, right? You're a position trader, right? If I'm thinking this is going to continue to go up, this is what I want to see. Okay. If we reject hard off of here and we lose this level here, this is going to get ugly. Okay. But it's a nice move so far. Good for you if you were long, but this is clear resistance for me in my system, how I trade. So absolutely not a bad place to take some risk off, or just be hesitant if you're long, trail up your stops, take partials. We can go deeper into this gray box, and then we can trade all the way down here. Okay, that would not surprise me at all. For this to be kind of a sucker move, right? Perfect retest after a breakdown, and then send it to 9.6. Fill that CME gap. Right? Because everyone on Twitter has gotten pretty bullish over the last couple of days. Not a lot of people were bullish here, right? What was happening here on Twitter the last few weeks? 7K charts, 6K charts, bull run is over charts. Then all of a sudden, it's Michael Saylor and Square are saving Bitcoin. We're going all-time high because we're back above 11K, right into resistance, right? So the sentiment lines up with the chart. Everyone who obviously missed this move is now bullish right into resistance. Wouldn't be a terrible idea, if I'm fucking making this market, to send this fucking thing down from here. So be cautious. I think if we get that stimulus announcement, the dollar continues to drop, and we start trading above this gray box here, right? You just long the fuck out of everything until another $2,000 higher. So I don't think you need to overcomplicate it. If you're a day trader, if you're a scalper, like I see the homie George. I don't know if he's still tuned in here, but a lot of people, he's short, and a lot of people are arguing with him. Like, you got to realize, if he's executing his chart on the 15-minute, let's say, if he's executing his trade on the 15-minute, he can short from 11.3 down to 10.800 and have a 4 or 5 hour trade, and then we can still go up, and he was still right. So everything you've got to, when you're looking at other people's charts, you've got to consider, what time frame are they charting on? What time frame are they executing on? What are my goals? Am I investing? Am I trading? Am I scalping? Am I position swing trading? It's all going to be different, right? So I mean, a position trader can be bullish for the last 6 months and nothing's changed, whereas a scalper has been bullish, bearish, and they're flipping their bias, kind of consistently and constantly. Everyone's got a different lens that they're looking through the market at. So you got to be careful when you're just going on Twitter and just like seeing other people's charts and be like, oh man, George is a good trader and he's bearish. We're going to zero. He might be bearish to 10.8, and then he might be bullish to further up. You don't know, right? So where can we easily follow the stimulus announcements? Donald Trump's Twitter. Trader R, what's up, bro? We're doing good, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Giuseppe, this will always be on Twitter. I always leave these videos on Twitter. So if you got any or on YouTube, sorry. So if you want to rewatch it, comment, ask me questions, they're all on there. Wasik, how to draw order blocks? What if there's a move up? So I've done tons of videos on order blocks, bro. But like, if there's part of it is experience. Part of it is I've kind of melded it my own way. Some people like to use one candle. To me, I might take all of these candles and make it an order block instead of just that single candle. Because to me, the key about the order block is it's not necessarily the single candle. It's what is price doing here before, right? To me, this is the down move, right? The selling that then led to this up move. This is the buying that then led to this down move, right? That's the key. So you can break it in, right? Like, you could argue that this is just the order block here in this instance, right? But there's also instances where I might say, okay, it's the order block is both of these candles, right? But you're usually going to be able to find a chart time frame, maybe on the 3 day, this is multiple candles, but then on the weekly, Oh, look, it's just one candle, right? So flip around on the charts and stuff and play with it, but go watch, ICT's video, go watch some of my older videos. I explain them in detail. And then the retest of the order block, right? It depends on the time frame, right? But I mean, on this 3-day chart, for example, we're retesting this order block right now. So you could have already sold here. You could be short right now with your stop above here. Or you could put your stop up here, but you could be short right now. Or maybe you want to put some orders here, some orders in here. But as soon as it starts trading into that order block, if you're trading it off the 3-day, you start shorting. If you're trading off the lower time frame, though, you might say, okay, well, we're into a 3-day order block here, right? But I don't just want to short it blindly. What I want to see is I want to see bearish price action form. So we're into the 3-day order block, and you might say, okay, well, now I have some price action forming here. Let's see if we can get some more detail on the H1. Right, so I might say, okay, I'm not in yet, but once we lose this level, so let's say we come up here, I might short that, right? So the 3-day order block is my resistance area, but then I'm waiting for a low time frame trigger to get in. So it depends how you want to do it. There's multiple ways to skin the cat, right? But generally, how I trade is how I just explained. So I have my 3-day resistance here, and now I want to look on the low time frame for bearishness, right? So what I want to see now, imagine we're still in that 3-day order block, right? Well, to me, we haven't made a lower low here yet, right? Higher lows, right? But if we now go up here and then we take out this low, let's say, now I want to sell any sort of retest for lower prices because that's bearish market structure forming on the low time frame, which I then into a high time frame resistance level, which I'm then expecting to translate to um, to high time frame bearishness. But again, I've done tons of videos on this, so go watch my old videos, man, from like 2 years ago. I do so many on order blocks. Yeah, Twitter is super bullish, right? So anytime Twitter is super bullish, look at the chart, and oftentimes you'll find that we're into resistance, right? More often than not. There are occasions where everyone is bullish and then we pump. So, that can happen. But to me, 3-day chart on Bitcoin is really money. I love using the 3-day chart. I think, when we were in the bear market back here, right, the 3-day chart provided a lot of really good, selling opportunities into 3-day order blocks, right? So those are just 3-day order blocks that we're selling into the entire way down. And then it works the flip side too, right? So on the way up, for example, you can use, where's a good example here? This. So this is a 6-day order block, I guess, right? Came up into it. Once we broke through, this is an SR flip, right? You can treat this like an SR flip. Again, this is the 3-day chart. I'm not saying that you long here and you have your stop $800 away, but when we start trading above this level, you want to look for bullishness to get long, right? So to me, this is a very clear bias level. Think of this level here exactly as this level here. Initial bias going into this level is short. And once we trade it above, we're going much higher. Same idea here. Initial bias is short. If we start trading above this block, we're going much higher. Chaz, yes, my man. My trading has become better by watching you and SC's videos. Oh, my pleasure, man. That's what we do this for. I hope you find some value in it. Did you talk about the CME gap? What do you think of the CME gap? It was just created. Is there a new CME gap now? Where do I see the CME again? CME. Someone give me the symbol for CME. What chart can I see the CME gap on? It's the futures. It's the Bitcoin futures chart, isn't it? Crypto future. Let's see. Someone give me the chart where I can see the CME, because I'm fucking retarded. What's the symbol? BTC1. There it is. Thanks, George. Okay. What the fuck? There we go. So, I mean, that lines up with exactly what I said, right? So, I mean, first of all, if we're going to reject from the 3-day block here, okay? So, if we're going to trade lower, right? That gap will get filled in, right? So, I mean, that kind of lines up with what I was just saying. We could trade up into 11.6, right? And then trade down and then fill this, but then also fill that gap from over here, right? Because this gap, I mean, we filled part of it, but there's still some open price. So I'm not completely opposed to price selling off from where we are. Again, if you want to blindly short this level, it's a 3-day order block, right? So realize that that's a large area of price. Realize that your stop, if you're entering now, might have to be $400 or $500 away from your entry, right? Or look for a low time frame trigger to get in, right? That's kind of the way to get your risk tight. So if you say, okay, this is a range here, right? Wait for us to either deviate out the top and then back in, your stop goes above there. Or if we see a deviation, right? Or if we just see a move to the downside, rejection, now I'm looking to maybe sell that or sell the next breakdown, right? But you can look for, basically, here's your trading range right now on the low time frame. Wait for a breakout of this in one direction or the other to determine if you should short, right? If we get a short setup, that's probably the top. If we push higher, look for 11.6. But ultimately, like I said, this is high time frame resistance. Everyone's super bullish, so I would not be surprised if we see some sort of pullback here before continuing higher, or we could get really ugly, right? We could see something like that. So just be careful is all I'm saying. We're into resistance. People are bullish. Just be careful. We always get fucky price action on the weekend too. Thanks for that, guys. Absolutely check out George's videos. His stuff's great. All right, y'all. So that's all I got for you. Real quick video as usual. So bias for now, we're into resistance, right? Into resistance on Bitcoin, into support on the dollar. Into resistance on Bitcoin, into support on the dollar. What does that mean? If the dollar bounces, Bitcoin's into resistance, Bitcoin's likely going to sell off. Ethereum, looking for a move back into 365 to get potentially long. Okay, but both Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, are into resistance. This is a 3-day breaker, okay, that we're coming up into. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum are into resistance. Dollar is into support. So if you're long, take some profits, trail your stops, manage your position. If you're short or looking to get short, this is now the time to be watching. And again, if Ethereum starts trading above here and Bitcoin starts trading above here, we're blowing the roof off. We're going much higher. But for now, we're into resistance, so be careful. All right, guys. So if you got anything else, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Leave me a comment. Shoot me a DM. Again, thanks to Prime for hooking it up. Show them some love by using the link in the description to sign up. You get the deposit bonus as well. I'll be back. I'm probably going to do another just kind of recorded video at some point this week. So stay tuned for that. If you want to know my thoughts on some of those DeFi altcoins, I did about an hour-long video a few days ago. That's on my YouTube here, so you can check that out. Here's a spoiler alert. They all look like shit. If you got any questions, of course, DM me, leave me a comment, just tag me in one of my posts, something like that. Happy to respond. Hope everyone has an awesome weekend, awesome Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you all later this week. Have a good one.